In today's fast-paced world, where chaos and distractions seem to be the norm, doesn't it sometimes feel like finding peace is an impossible dream? Yet, what if I told you that true serenity is not something we have to search for on the outside but something we cultivate from within? Imagine that. The journey to inner peace begins with the understanding that peace isn't a far-off destination, it's a seed inside us waiting to be nurtured. How powerful is that realization? In this exploration, we'll look at practical techniques for cultivating calm, understanding how to detach from our thoughts, and reflect on how to embody inner tranquility even when the world around us feels utterly uncontrollable. Don't let stress control you, learn how to master your thoughts. Subscribe for more tools to build your inner sanctuary. Practical techniques for inner peace. Achieving inner peace doesn't require grand gestures or dramatic lifestyle changes. Instead, it's about simple, consistent practices that help us reduce the noise of our minds. Each practice, though seemingly small, carries the potential to transform our mental landscape in a truly lasting way. Let's explore a few techniques that can bring serenity back into our everyday lives. Slow down body movements. Have you ever noticed the connection between your mind and body? When you rush, your mind feels hurried and anxious too. By consciously slowing down your physical movements, you encourage your mind to slow down as well. Imagine walking as if you are making each step with intention, feeling the ground beneath your feet. Isn't that beautiful? When you eat, slow down and savor each bite, let the flavors dance on your tongue. When we move with intention instead of rushing, it's almost like we're giving our mind permission to breathe and be present. This seemingly small shift reduces the clutter in our thoughts, making space for more awareness and peace. Have you ever tried simply standing still for a moment and noticing everything around you? It's incredible how much we miss when we're always in motion. Slow down, and suddenly, the world seems to open up. You start to notice the subtle sway of leaves in the breeze, the warmth of the sun on your skin, or the sound of a bird chirping in the distance. This heightened awareness is the doorway to peace. It's like seeing the world in high definition, vivid, alive, and vibrant. When we slow down our bodies, our minds naturally follow, creating space for moments of wonder that we would otherwise overlook. Breathing meditation. Have you ever truly listened to your breath? There's something so profoundly calming about connecting with this simple, natural rhythm of life. Breathing meditation is one of the simplest and most effective ways to center yourself. The breath is our anchor to the present moment, our lifeline in the sea of chaos. Close your eyes, and take a deep breath in. Feel the rise of your chest, the filling of your lungs, and the subtle pause before the exhale. Isn't it almost magical? As you stay with your breath, the noise of your thoughts softens, leaving behind a stillness that feels like home. It is in these quiet moments that we cultivate true inner calm, a peace that doesn't waver with external circumstances. Breathing is so much more than a physiological process, it is the bridge between our mind and body. When stress hits, our breath becomes shallow, but when we consciously deepen our breath, we signal to our body that everything is okay. Have you ever felt the power of a long, deep breath? It's almost as if you're breathing out the tension, letting go of what no longer serves you. Try this the next time you feel overwhelmed. Take a few deep breaths, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and notice how your shoulders relax, how your heart rate slows down. The breath has an incredible power to ground us, to remind us that we are alive, and that in this moment, we are safe. Breathing meditation can also be a gateway to understanding the impermanence of our thoughts and feelings. Every inhale is a reminder that we are taking in the present, and every exhale signifies letting go. Imagine how much lighter life would be if we approached every difficulty with this mindset, breathing in acceptance, and breathing out resistance. This practice of conscious breathing isn't just about calming down in the moment, it's about changing our relationship with stress and cultivating a more harmonious way of being. Non-judgmental awareness. Do you ever find yourself caught in an endless loop of evaluating your thoughts? This thought is good, that one is bad. It's exhausting, isn't it? One of the most freeing realizations is that we don't have to judge every thought. What if we let them just be? Practice observing your thoughts without categorizing them, just watch them pass by, like clouds drifting across the sky. Some thoughts may be heavy and dark, others light and fluffy, but none of them define the sky itself. By developing non-judgmental awareness, we free ourselves from being entangled in an unnecessary struggle. How liberating would it be to let those clouds pass without holding on to them? Non-judgmental awareness is about embracing everything without resistance, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Imagine if we could just let thoughts pass without engaging, without giving them power. You might think, but what if a really negative thought arises? Well, what if it does? It's just a thought. Thoughts do not have the power to define who you are unless you let them. Isn't that such a profound relief? It's like being in a movie theater, watching scenes unfold without getting lost in the story. You are the viewer, and the thoughts are just fleeting images on the screen of your mind. The practice of non-judgmental awareness invites us to fully engage with the present moment without being overwhelmed by our inner narrative. Imagine how peaceful it would be if, instead of reacting to each thought that arises, you simply acknowledged its presence, gave it a gentle nod, and watched as it drifted away. This isn't about avoidance, it's about understanding the transient nature of thoughts. They come and go, but we remain. Just as the sky holds both clouds and sunshine, we hold space for both positive and negative experiences without allowing them to define us. Understanding inner calm and peace. Inner peace and calmness aren't about escaping our thoughts or emotions. They're about embracing them without letting them control us. Peace is not a treasure buried outside of ourselves, it's already within us, we simply need to uncover it. Calmness is internal. Many of us believe that calmness is about having an empty mind, but is that even realistic? True calm isn't the absence of thought, it's about not reacting to every single one that arises. Imagine your thoughts as leaves floating on a river, they drift by, some more quickly than others, but they never stay forever. The river continues to flow regardless of the leaves. Our minds are the river, thoughts may come, but they don't have to disrupt our flow. Isn't it comforting to think of calmness this way, as something that flows beneath all the noise? It's so easy to get caught up in the idea that calmness means perfection, that we need to be in a perfectly controlled environment, with no noise, no disturbances. But life isn't like that, is it? Life is full of ups and downs, full of surprises and unpredictable moments. True calmness isn't about waiting for the world to be perfect, it's about finding the stillness within, even when the world feels chaotic. It's about embracing the imperfections, the messiness, and recognizing that we can still be calm amidst it all. Doesn't that make the idea of peace so much more accessible? One of the most profound aspects of inner calm is recognizing that we do not need to control everything around us in order to be peaceful. Imagine the energy we would save if we stopped trying to micromanage every detail of our lives. Calmness is about knowing that no matter what is happening externally, we have an unshakable center within us. It is this unwavering core, this calm at the center of the storm, that allows us to navigate life with grace and resilience. The paradox of peace is that it becomes most accessible when we stop chasing it, when we allow ourselves to simply be, and trust that it is already within us. Thoughts are not you. We often get so tangled up in our thoughts that we mistake them for who we are. But here's a profound truth, you are not your thoughts. Thoughts are like the weather, constantly changing, sometimes stormy, sometimes sunny, but you are the sky that holds it all. What if you saw your thoughts like passing clouds, just temporary formations that arise and dissipate? This realization creates a healthy distance, allowing you to observe without getting swept away. By knowing that thoughts are fleeting, you can hold on to your calmness even when times get tough. Isn't that such a beautiful freedom? Imagine the power of this realization, that you are the vast, limitless sky, and thoughts are just passing clouds. How often do we let fleeting thoughts dictate our emotions, our actions, our sense of self-worth? But if you can remember that thoughts are temporary, that they come and go like clouds in the sky, you can remain rooted in your true essence. You are not the storm, you are the sky that holds the storm. This understanding brings such an incredible sense of peace. It's almost as if you're watching your life unfold with a deeper wisdom, knowing that no matter what thoughts arise, they will eventually pass. This idea is incredibly empowering because it means that, at our core, we are untouched by the ever-changing weather of our minds. The storms, the rain, the sunshine, they all come and go, but we remain. This doesn't mean ignoring our thoughts or emotions, it means acknowledging them, understanding their transient nature, and choosing not to let them control our sense of self. By creating this space, we become less reactive, more grounded, and better equipped to navigate the complexities of life with a sense of balance and equanimity. Practicing mindful detachment. To achieve inner peace, practicing mindful detachment from our thoughts is key. But detachment doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing them, it means choosing how we respond. It's about creating space between stimulus and response. Observe without reacting. How often do we react to thoughts before even realizing they've surfaced? The next time a thought arises, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this thought really worth my energy? When we observe without immediately reacting, we see the true nature of thoughts, they're temporary. It's almost like magic when you notice how these fleeting thoughts lose their grip on you. That pause becomes a moment of power, your power to choose peace over chaos. It's such an empowering practice to observe a thought without letting it control you. Think of it as standing at the edge of a river, watching leaves float by. You see them, acknowledge them, but you don't need to jump in and grab each one. Isn't it freeing to realize that we have the power to choose our response? Sometimes, just taking that one breath before reacting can change everything. In that breath, we find our freedom, the freedom to choose calmness, to choose how we want to feel. Practicing mindful detachment also means recognizing that our thoughts often stem from conditioning, past experiences, fears, societal expectations. When we observe without reacting, we can begin to understand where these thoughts come from and why they arise. This deeper awareness allows us to break free from old patterns and create new, more empowering ways of thinking and being. By observing without attachment, we not only create inner calm but also gain insights into ourselves that can lead to lasting transformation. Thoughts as passing traffic. Imagine sitting beside a busy road. Cars rush by, some are loud, some slow, some grab your attention. Your thoughts are like those cars. You can't stop them from passing, but you also don't need to chase after them. Isn't that such a beautiful analogy for our mind? Just let the thoughts be like passing traffic. You are simply the observer, not the driver chasing after every car. There's something profoundly peaceful about recognizing that we are not in the driver's seat of every thought. You wouldn't run into traffic to chase a car, would you? So why chase every thought that crosses your mind? Thoughts are just passing cars, some may be interesting, some annoying, but they all pass eventually. When we sit by the road and observe, without feeling the need to chase, we find a deep sense of calm. It's almost as if we're reclaiming our mind, one breath at a time, choosing to stay rooted rather than getting swept away. The analogy of thoughts as passing traffic also helps us understand that not every thought requires our attention or action. Just because a car passes by doesn't mean we need to chase it, and similarly, not every thought is worthy of our energy. This realization allows us to conserve our mental and emotional resources, directing them toward what truly matters. It's about learning to discern which thoughts serve us and which do not, a skill that becomes more refined with practice and mindfulness. Embracing impermanence. Another key aspect of finding inner peace is embracing the impermanence of everything around us, including our thoughts and emotions. Everything is in a constant state of change. The good times, the bad times, the feelings of joy, the moments of sadness, they all come and go, just like the tides. Isn't it comforting to know that nothing lasts forever? When we embrace impermanence, we stop clinging to what's pleasurable and resisting what's uncomfortable. We learn to ride the waves of life with grace, knowing that nothing, no feeling, no thought, no experience, is permanent. How often do we find ourselves holding on to moments of happiness, wishing they could last forever? And how often do we resist discomfort, hoping it will disappear? But life is like the ocean, constantly ebbing and flowing. By accepting this natural rhythm, we find peace. We learn to be present with whatever is happening, without attaching ourselves to it. When joy comes, we welcome it with open arms, and when it leaves, we let it go without clinging. When sadness arrives, we allow it space, knowing that it too will eventually pass. This acceptance of impermanence brings with it a profound sense of freedom and calm. Embracing impermanence also means appreciating the beauty of each moment as it is. When we understand that nothing lasts forever, we begin to cherish the present more deeply. The laughter of a loved one, the warmth of the sun on our face, the taste of a delicious meal, all of these experiences become more precious when we realize they are fleeting. Instead of taking them for granted, we savor them fully. Impermanence teaches us that every moment is a gift, and by embracing this truth, we cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude and peace. The power of acceptance. Acceptance is at the core of finding inner peace. When we resist reality, we create tension and suffering within ourselves. But what if we could accept things just as they are, without needing them to be different? Acceptance doesn't mean we agree with everything or that we stop striving for change, it means we stop fighting against what is. It means we allow ourselves to be fully present with life, as it is, in this moment. Think about a time when you felt deeply at peace. Chances are, it was a moment when you weren't resisting anything, when you were simply being. Maybe you were watching a sunset, listening to your favorite song, or sitting by the ocean. In those moments, there was no resistance, no struggle, just pure acceptance of what was. The more we practice acceptance, the more we create space for peace within ourselves. We stop arguing with reality and start embracing life in all its complexity. Acceptance is not passive, it is an active choice to engage with life as it is, rather than as we wish it to be. It requires courage to face reality without turning away, especially when reality is difficult or painful. But in that courage lies the seed of true peace. When we accept what we cannot change, we free up our energy to focus on what we can change. We become more resilient, more adaptable, and more capable of finding joy even in challenging circumstances. Acceptance is a powerful tool for transforming suffering into growth and for turning obstacles into opportunities for deeper understanding and connection. Finding stillness in nature. Nature has an incredible ability to ground us and bring us back to the present moment. Have you ever noticed how peaceful you feel when you're surrounded by trees, listening to the sound of birds, or watching the waves crash against the shore? Nature reminds us of the simplicity of being, of the beauty in each moment. When the world feels overwhelming, stepping outside and connecting with nature can be a powerful way to find inner calm. Take a walk in the park, sit by a river, or simply stand barefoot on the grass. Notice the sights, sounds, and smells around you. Feel the breeze on your skin, listen to the rustling leaves, watch the clouds drift by. Nature has no agenda, no rush, no expectations. It simply is. And when we allow ourselves to be present in nature, we too begin to feel that sense of ease and tranquility. We remember that we are a part of something greater, that, just like nature, we can find our own natural rhythm and flow. Nature also teaches us valuable lessons about impermanence and resilience. Trees shed their leaves in the fall, only to bloom again in the spring. The ocean tides rise and fall, but the sea remains. These cycles remind us that change is a natural part of life, and that we too have the capacity to adapt and grow. When we connect with nature, we are reminded of our own strength and resilience. We see that just as the earth endures, we too can endure. We can weather the storms of life and emerge stronger on the other side. Gratitude as a path to peace. Gratitude is another powerful tool for cultivating inner peace. When we focus on what we have, rather than what we lack, we shift our perspective from one of scarcity to one of abundance. Gratitude helps us see the beauty in our lives, even amidst the chaos. It reminds us of the simple joys, the warmth of the sun, the smile of a loved one, the taste of our favorite food. When we cultivate gratitude, we create a sense of contentment that brings us peace. Start a daily gratitude practice. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be big things. In fact, the smaller, the better. Maybe it's the sound of rain on the roof, the taste of your morning coffee, or a kind word from a friend. As you make gratitude a habit, you'll begin to notice more and more things to be thankful for. This shift in focus brings with it a sense of peace and joy. It's hard to feel anxious or stressed when your heart is full of gratitude. Gratitude also has the power to transform our relationships. When we express appreciation for the people in our lives, we strengthen our connections and foster a sense of belonging. Imagine how it feels to receive genuine gratitude from someone. It's warm, uplifting, and reassuring. By cultivating gratitude, we not only bring peace to ourselves but also create a ripple effect that brings more love and harmony into the world around us. Gratitude is a bridge that connects us to others, reminding us that we are never alone and that there is always something to be thankful for. Self-compassion, the foundation of inner calm. Inner peace also comes from how we treat ourselves. How often do we criticize ourselves for not being good enough, for making mistakes, for not meeting our own expectations? Self-compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a dear friend. It's about recognizing that you are human, that you are doing the best you can, and that it's okay to be imperfect. When we practice self-compassion, we create a safe space within ourselves, a space where we can rest, recharge, and find peace. The next time you catch yourself being critical, pause and take a breath. Ask yourself, would I say this to a friend? If the answer is no, then offer yourself words of kindness instead. You deserve your own love and understanding. The more you practice self-compassion, the more you create a foundation of inner calm that can weather any storm. Self-compassion is not about making excuses or avoiding responsibility, it's about acknowledging our humanity and recognizing that we are all imperfect. It's about understanding that mistakes are part of the learning process and that we are worthy of love and acceptance, even when we fall short of our own expectations. When we treat ourselves with compassion, we become more resilient, more open to growth, and more capable of finding peace even in difficult times. Self-compassion is the foundation upon which true inner calm is built. It is the wellspring of love and acceptance that nourishes our souls and allows us to face life with courage and grace. Conclusion. In our pursuit of happiness, we often believe that peace lies somewhere outside, in that next achievement, in the perfect circumstances, but real peace is already here, within us. Isn't that incredible? We just need to uncover it. By letting go of the need to react to every thought, and cultivating awareness that is free from judgment, we find that calmness isn't some distant dream, it's a part of who we are. So, today, as you go about your day, take a moment to breathe. Slow down. Notice your thoughts without letting them control you. Embrace the impermanence of life, accept things as they are, and find moments of stillness in nature. Cultivate gratitude, and treat yourself with compassion. And remember, true peace isn't about what's happening around you, it's about what's happening within you. May you find serenity in the midst of chaos, and may that calmness become a constant companion on your journey through life. Because ultimately, peace is not something we attain, it's something we become. Are you ready to embrace the calm within you? It's there, waiting to be nurtured, waiting to be embraced. Let's begin this beautiful journey of self-discovery together.